Real Citizens or Bloxburg? This is a question that we'll be trying to answer today. For a good part of Roblox, Real Citizens and Bloxburg has been two of the leading town city games to have been created. In this video, we'll be exploring this question by comparing the many aspects of these two games, from its value, to its looks, to its gameplay. So if you're thinking about buying Bloxburg, or you're unsure about whether or not you should invest your time to Real Citizens, keep on watching as I'll be able to give you a definitive answer as to which game is the best for you. One more thing. If you watched my channel before, you would know that I'm partial to Real Citizens since it's a game that I've played since the beginning, but I'll try my best to be as unbiased as possible. I also want to let you know that everything in this video will be my opinion, so it's normal you disagree with some of the things I say. If you agree or if you disagree, feel free to comment below as I would love to hear about what you have to say about Bloxburg and Real Citizens. Anyways, let's get started by comparing the value of these two games. Real Citizens and Bloxburg are two feature packed games, but which game has a better value? At face value, Real Citizens is completely free. You can definitely have a good time playing Real Citizens without spending a dime, which is a huge plus for the more frugal players out there. However, the game does offer a variety of game passes that can enhance your gaming experience while not breaking the bank. The most expensive game pass here is only 500 Robux, and it allows you to get free money every 10 minutes, along with a golden name tag and the ability to type out green text in the chat. My personal favorite game pass here will be the custom furniture colors one, just because it allows me to have more color options when I'm customizing my furniture. This game pass is definitely not for everyone, as most people are fine decorating with 1 to 5 colors that are available for each piece of furniture in the shop. I'll say it's only good for decorators and builders who want a wider range of colors to select from. The game also provides an in-game app in which you can purchase to control your private server. There are so many things you can do with this app, such as adjusting the in-game time, toggling the cycle of day, adjusting the length of the day, and changing the season. This app is super useful for photographers, role players, YouTubers, pretty much anyone who just wants to be able to adjust the time of the day to their liking. Another thing that you guys can buy with Robux is the in-game money, although I don't think it's worth it at all. In my personal opinion, it's a lot more fun to work for the money rather than to buy it yourself. Now for a downside of Real Citizens, are you ready? One main flaw that can be seen with Real Citizens, or at least what I've noticed, is that there tends to be a lot more glitches and bugs that are in the game. There's always someone out there finding out some sort of money glitch, or any other glitch for that matter, which may ruin the game experience for other people. Now, though I may consider this as a con, many may consider this as a pro, since the glitches and bugs allow them to fully experience every part of the game without having to work or earn money. Along with that, there are also a good amount of exploiters in this game. Some explorers spawn in large amounts of money, while others spawn in weird stuff into the map, like this giant Despacito spider. While there isn't as many glitches as there used to be in the game, there's still quite a few, and it's a significant amount more than that of Bloxburg that I think is worth mentioning. Now for Bloxburg. To play Bloxburg, it will cost you 25 Robux, which isn't that expensive, but it will definitely be a big deciding factor if you aren't willing to pay any money on a game. There have been rumors that it will be free soon, but for now, it doesn't seem like it will be happening. The game passes that are offered in Bloxburg are very similar to that of Real Citizens, pretty much the same actually. Some of the game passes that are not in Real Citizens as opposed to Bloxburg will be the ones for building. For example, there's a game pass that allows you to be able to build houses with multiple floors, and there's another one that is for advanced placing, which is a feature that allows you to overlap stuff when you build. The prices of these game passes are very similar to those in Real Citizens. As for the private servers in Bloxburg, there's a thing in the game called neighborhoods, which are almost like the private servers that Real Citizens have. You have to buy one though, and it'll cost you 149 Robux per month. Unlike Real Citizens, Bloxburg also have two currency systems, money and Bloxbucks. You can use your Robux to buy the in-game currency, but I personally would recommend against this since it's a lot more fun to use jobs to make money. So overall, the game passes in Real Citizens and Bloxburg are very similar in how they're priced. The features that are offered in both games are fairly priced, which makes each game worth considering. However, if you are unwilling to spend any Robux to play a town city game in Roblox, I would recommend Real Citizens over Bloxburg since it's free to play. Now let's talk about the looks of each game. Looks is mostly a subjective thing, but I guess I can just start by describing each of the different places of each game and give my opinion. So let's start off with Real Citizens. Real Citizens boasts a huge map with really nice terrain and buildings. This new map has been added to the game just a few months ago, and it has been worked on by the developers for almost an entire year, so we can clearly see that a large amount of work was put into it. Some might argue that the map is too big, but personally, I think the new map is a huge improvement from the original. There are a lot of places where you can roleplay at, and I personally think that it looks a lot better when compared to the Bloxburg map. Now, moving on to Bloxburg, we can see that it is a lot simpler. There's not much you can do since the current map is just so small and limiting. The buildings aren't as detailed either. Same with the cars that are in the game. The Royal Citizens cars just look so much better and detailed compared to the ones that are in Bloxburg. Like, look at this one, and compare it to the one that is in Royal Citizens. The cars in Bloxburg is a literal box. In fact, I've seen some people in Bloxburg create even better looking cars with the furniture that are in the game. Anyways, I digress. Royal Citizens also allows you to have the ability to customize your car exactly how you like it. You can modify a whole bunch of things such as its colors and parts. For Bloxburg, you are able to customize the color of your car, but where it lacks is the ability to swap the different parts in your car, such as the spoiler and the skirts. So if you want to play a game that allows you to do a lot with your car, I would say that Royal Citizens is a great option for you. Now going back to what I said about Bloxburg being simplistic, I just want to say that simplicity is not all bad. Because Bloxburg is super simple like this, it doesn't seem as daunting to play when you're playing it for the first time. In addition to that, a simple map would mean that there's potentially less lag, so if you're playing Royal Citizens and you're lagging quite a bit, I would recommend trying out Bloxburg as it is much less laggy. Now let's talk about the UI, or user interface. Again, we can see that Bloxburg has a very simple yet clean UI compared to Royal Citizens, and if I'm being honest, I'll say that I prefer the UI of Bloxburg over the Royal Citizens one, since everything just looks super minimalistic, and I quite like that. In Bloxburg, I find it neat that some icons can be moved around, and personally, I think that it's a nice attention to detail. I also like how you have the ability to change the color of the buttons to anything you want. With Royal Citizens, you're limited to just the blue UI and you can change its color. Maybe in the future, the developers can give us more options to customizing the UI. One of my favorite features of Royal Citizens, however, would be this nice navigation system that it has. You can select wherever you want to go, and it's very useful for the large map that Royal Citizens have. Overall, both Royal Citizens and Bloxburg have their pros and cons when it comes to their aesthetics. Personally though, I would prefer Royal Citizens for super nice details with how the entire game looks, but you can't go wrong with Bloxburg either. However, if you tend to lag a lot in games that have large maps, I would recommend Bloxburg over Royal Citizens. Now let's talk about gameplay. First, we'll be talking about house decoration and building. This aspect of the game holds great value to me considering that I just love decorating and building houses. It's primarily what I do in these sort of games. We'll start off with Royal Citizens. For Royal Citizens, you're provided with pre-built houses called blueprints. These blueprints are relatively inexpensive as you'll be able to get these houses pretty quickly if you work for a bit. For those that generally play this game to roleplay, Royal Citizens would probably be a great option for you since decorating the houses will be a lot easier. You don't have to do as much to get a home ready for one of your roleplays. However, the pre-built houses that are in Royal Citizens can be seen to have its drawbacks. Given that the houses are already built, players who are interested in decorating their houses are limited to the space that are available to them. Also, color matching is difficult if you don't have the custom colors game pass. With Bloxburg, the building system is very similar to The Sims if you ever played that game before. Unlike Royal Citizens, there is a conveniently designated build mode in which you're able to view whatever you are building. You can also adjust the environment to see what your build looks like in the daytime, for example, or in the nighttime. You're also able to move around the walls to any place you like, along with the furniture. Along with that, you can select the color of any furniture you want without needing to buy any additional game passes. There are game passes for building as I mentioned earlier, but these game passes are definitely not needed for making a beautiful house. Comparing the furniture items between both Royal Citizens and Bloxburg, I think both of them are pretty similar and I would say that both of them are great in their own way. However, for the building system alone, I would say that Bloxburg definitely takes the win for this one. Royal Citizens is more of a decorating game for those who enjoy making house interiors instead of complete houses. Now let's talk about the roleplay aspect of the two games. I don't really roleplay myself, but when it comes to roleplay, I think that Royal Citizens is a lot better than Bloxburg in that regard. For one, Royal Citizens has a very large map and there's just a lot more for people to do. For Bloxburg, the buildings are very plain and people don't really use those buildings to roleplay in. In addition to that, people are often too busy with building their houses, so it can be hard to find someone to roleplay with. In terms of character customization and outfit customizations, Bloxburg and Real Citizens offer equally nice systems for doing that. For Bloxburg, you can select plenty of UGC items that you want. There seems to be a larger selection here when compared to Real Citizens. However, Real Citizens is great since you're able to resize your accessories to any size that you want. This can be great if you want to be unique and make your own custom accessories to stand out. It's one of those cool aspects of the game that often gets overlooked. As for the jobs that are in the game, I find the jobs in both games to be extremely repetitive, and I think that this aspect can be greatly improved by both games. It might be useful to have a wide range of things to do within each job, just so that it doesn't feel boring over long periods of time. Anyway guys, that's the end of my video. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like as it will help me tremendously. Also, if you want to see more, be sure to subscribe as I'll have a lot more Real Citizens Bloxburg content coming, and you will not want to miss them. As for now, I hope to catch you guys in my next video.